Hello, this is Geoff Tyson, and today we're going to be looking at some parallel effects processing tricks with a multi-track recorded drum kit. Let's just take a listen to that drum part. So we have a fairly dry, very uncharacteristic drum recording. What I'd like to do is, by using distortion and drastic EQs, I'm going to create a effect send channel. So anytime we have something from the drum kit, like a drum fill or whatever that we want to really feature, we'll just simply drag it to that track. So from right here, I have my effect send track. And we're going to start with just a snare drum, which I have here on this track. I'm just going to copy it, and then we'll solo that just to listen. So that's our snare drum. So now, we're going to be doing some unconventional things here. We're going to start with something really drastic and really intense. This is the Audified amplifier simulator. Now this thing is really cool because we have different kind of amplifier models, but we also have controls over different effects pedals. So we're going to start and just listen to what this thing sounds like through one of these guitar amps. That is, I don't know, I guess it's some sort of a Fender. So we're going to experiment with some of these others. Getting a little bit more distorted. Ooh, I like that one. It's just really compressing it a lot. And it's got a really kind of a dark and nasty tone. I'm going to feature the mids on this, because I want it to be really extreme. And then, kind of curious, what would the spring reverb sound like on this? It's kind of interesting. I'll have just a little bit of that in there. Now let's go to the effects pedals. Effects pedals are really cool because you can have, first of all, 8 of them at one time. I'm going to try a phaser. The more extreme this is, the more it's going to help these individual parts stand out. So now that's a kind of an old analog phaser, similar to the Small Stone by Electro Harmonics. Yeah, that's nasty. I like that. Okay, so now I'm going to add just a kind of a standard, nothing special, just a spring reverb. This is the standard Air spring reverb that comes native with Pro Tools. This is just the factory default setting. I can see it's kind of adding this distorted but stereo dimension to it. You can really hear how the phaser is modulating. And then last, I'm going to put a little bit more EQ on this. This is the in-valve equalizer. I like this because it has, it's very musical sounding EQ. For the lows and the highs, you have a choice between a shelf or a bell. You have this valve saturation, which is fantastic. I'll show you that in a minute. And then as well, we have a high pass and low pass filter. So in this case, I really want to feature some of these nasty mid frequencies again. So let's find those. So that's really ugly. I love that. All right, and we're going to add valve saturation, which just gives it a little bit more aggression. And now let's hear that in context. We're going to drag some of these drum fills onto our effect send control channel. So now anything that we send to this channel will now be sent through this chain. Here's the original unaffected. I've dragged my toms, snare, and later on I can do other parts to this as well. So we're going to be affecting all of these in the same way. So now let's turn these back on. Okay, so now let's listen to that in context with the rest of the drum kit. There's one, here's another. And then later on in the song where it breaks down a little bit. So that gives us that option to create this big sort of energy without having to cloud the entire drum kit up with reverb. And so there you have it. It's parallel effects processing using the Audified Amp Lion, the in-valve EQ, and the Spring Reverb. It's very simple.